I'd also like to recognize members of the Norman Arts Council Board and the Norman Public Arts Board who partner to administer these 1% for Art projects. So if you're a board member, if you can just give a wave. Thank you, guys. This project also could not have been possible without the hard work of city staff. And in particular, I want to recognize Judd Foster and James Briggs, who both have such an appreciation and understanding of the ways in which art and public spaces work together. So Judd and James, thank you very much. And of course, none of this could happen without a special thank you to Debbie Williams, who is our public arts manager. And she keeps all of us organized and on schedule and making sure that things actually happen with these projects. So thank you, Debbie, for all of your hard work. So we started this project back in the fall of 2019 when our selection committee, and I have members of the selection committee here today too, so wave if you were on the selection committee. Thank you guys for your hard work. This is not an easy job by any means. But back in fall of 2019, our selection committee began reviewing the artists who submitted qualifications for this project. They narrowed that field down to 3 finalists who were interviewed in person by the committee in March of this year, and then they chose Valerie for the installation here in Ruby Grant Park. Valerie, who lives in, this is slipping down, sorry, who lives in the DC area, was also able to visit here in Norman twice, once for her site visit as a finalist back in January of 2019, no, 2020, yes, 2020. And then again in March, on March 4th, when she made her presentation to the selection committee. And I mention that date specifically because, as we all know, just days after that, the coronavirus changed everything about the way we navigate through our daily, day-to-day lives. However, this project remained fairly unaffected. This microphone seems to be sinking. Is that okay? Okay, all right. So this project remained fairly unaffected. Art always seems to find a way through the toughest times. Thank you, Jen. And one of the beautiful things about public art is that it is often outdoors. So despite the continued restrictions that we have on life, we can all stand here today in this beautiful park to celebrate Valerie's joyous installation. And I don't know that I can think of a more welcome addition to our public art collection in Norman than this piece that invites us to reflect on nature, to meditate in nature, and enjoy the calm and the peace of the site, and to soothe our souls with patterns and colors that reflect the natural beauty of our surroundings. This is an art experience that we can enjoy, interact with, and fill our souls despite the uneasy state of the world. In fact, I think it can even help us cope and find solace. So thank you, Valerie, for sharing your beautiful work with us here in Norman. And now I would like to invite Valerie. Oh, yeah. So Valerie, if you want to come up and tell us a little bit about yourself and your process with the work.
Hi, I'm Valerie Theberge. As Erin had said, I'm based in Washington, D.C. And I'm really grateful for so many people who were part of this project, but I want to first say thank you so much to the City of Norman. This is my 3rd time out here, and it's been a real pleasure. And I've done as much as I can to understand and have a great appreciation for your wonderful city. I also want to say thank you so much to the Norman Arts Council and the Public Art Board, as well as the Parks Department that did such a fabulous job with this beautiful, beautiful park. So first, I just want to say thank you to you all who were such a wonderful part of this and made my job so much easier. And also Crosslands, which did an awesome job helping me leave some great photos of this sculpture being lifted, 6 feet off the ground, so to get it installed. So I'll just say a few words. for anyone technically who's interested, these are carved polystyrene, big blocks that are carved with a hot wire knife. And then they've got 5 layers of fiberglass and mortar on top to make them suitable for outdoors. And the topical, it's glass mosaic. So each piece is hand cut and placed on, and it's sort of a meditative labor of love. And because of the pandemic, I worked alone. I usually have a couple of staff working with me, but I had a really great time working alone on these. And just to back it up, my inspiration for these sculptures was Ruby Grant. When I came out here my first time, we had somebody who knew her personally since this woman was age 7 and knew her from her church and from the neighborhood and as a music teacher. And she gave an incredibly moving, fleshed out picture of who Ruby Grant was as she knew her from a small child. And so this woman had known her for probably 40 years before Ruby passed on. And that is really what I was trying to do with these sculptures, is to have this physical embodiment of what her spirit was, as I understood it from personal stories and understanding that it's kind of remarkable. I think she roamed this 150 acres, for almost 100 years. I mean, she died at 97, I think, and born and raised. So I think that there's something really profound about her spirit sort of living on in her generous gift to the city of Norman, and what a great tribute is to keep it as a beautiful open space park. So, from what I understand of her, of this sort of petite force of nature, I think she's must have been incredibly impressive. She was born before women had the right to vote. She got a master's degree in the 40s. Like, that's sort of, as a woman, that's pretty remarkable. And then her deep dedication to education, music, and multiple times a week, the pianist at her church. So, that kind of giving spirit. And so these figures are, especially the large one, is, I want people to have this sense of embracing her. So they're very tactile. You're welcome to touch, sit on them. Not the big one. You can touch everything, but I wouldn't sit on the big one. But I wanted, kids to be able to play with them, and I wanted older people to interact with them the way they could. So I hope that it's a good tribute to, as it interacts with this beautiful landscape and open space, and for people to have, as Erin said so eloquently, a place of respite during this particular difficult time in the world, and throughout our lives as we move forward. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Valerie. And now if Councilmember Stephen Holman would come up and say a few words, and then he'll lead us into our ribbon cutting.
Thank you, Erin. I'm Councilmember Holman. I also serve as the Mayor Pro Tem, or Vice Mayor, when the Mayor's not available. So unfortunately, Mayor Clark could not be here today. She wishes she could. So I agreed to say a few things, and really I just, again, want to thank all of you for being here. I do want to mention a few people that really, from a city council standpoint, that really made this park happen. Former Councilmember Rachel Butler is here. Former Ward 5 Councilmember was here when this was going through, and former Councilmember Mandy Hawes, and specifically the art piece. I do want to mention former Councilmember Kyle Allison. It was when we were discussing Norman Forward as a council back in 2015. It was Councilmember Allison that suggested the 1% for public art, that be included in Norman Forward, and that every project, 1% of every project budget, be used to go towards public art. So that is how we ended up with this and so many other wonderful pieces of art throughout our city, and all these various Norman Forward projects. So this is very exciting. I'm very honored as a fourth generation Norman kid to get the opportunity to be a part of this and see this happen. So thank you all for being here, and let's get the ribbon cut on it. I think Judd, maybe? Is there a ribbon? I don't even know if there's. Okay.
Oh, okay. Valerie?
And any council members? Kind of get off center of the
Which way do you want
here.
them?
So we're gonna go around.
Like that way?
I'll help you hold this one. Yeah.
Big giant scissors.
I guess if people in the middle will hold the ribbon and you're not holding scissors.
Need a few people to come up and hold the ribbon.
I'm really good at this.
Yeah, good ribbon holder.
Yeah, I exceed at this skill.
If anybody hasn't pulled in the scissors, you can pull the ribbon.
This is the fun stuff.
I know.
How about if I squeeze in behind you? Can we get a pause for some pictures?